This broadcast, on the day known as Reyes here in Spain, is brought to you by Thunderbirds, and particularly the expression, keep this frequency clear. If you're too young to understand any of that, go look, go find out. If you've been following me, either on La Liga television, sometimes in the big interview, on ESPN, FC in my columns in particular, you'll know that, I've got a bee in my bonnet about Vinicius. Again, I adore him as a footballer. I think he's absolutely electrifying, totally sensational in terms of the thrill, the electricity he brings to the viewer, that he brings to his team. He's a big-time performer. Get him to a final and predominantly he'll give you an assist or a goal. He's got in the region of 200 goals and assists for Real Madrid, aged 24. But he's annoying to some people. He's explosive. He carries a chip on his shoulder. Normally, for my taste and my taste only, and I'm not hectoring you here, I know that people's tastes vary, and I know that if you were to judge only by the Spanish media or by social media, I'm in the minority. But 90% of the time, I like Vinicius' snarl and his fury, because he uses it to drive himself on to better performances, to going past opponents who kick him. He uses it as fuel, as in various ways Ferguson did, Beckham did, Keane did. I've seasoned those three because they're standout performers of when I was a written journalist in England. But it's what I grew up watching Willie Miller do for Aberdeen too. The fury about everybody's against us, we will show you, I will stick this right down your throat. I love that. I live and breathe it, I use it every day. Having said all that, when he was sent off against Valencia for only the second time in his senior Real Madrid career, at Mestalla on Friday night, Vinicius was wholly in the wrong. He deserved his red card. He reacted in a far too hair-trigger manner to Dimitrievski, the Valencia standing goalkeeper, giving him a little nick, a little shove on the back as Vinicius was down on his knees protesting about something again. Vinicius leapt up and took a two-handed, two-palm, he sort of pushes at Dimitrievski, and it does. It lands on, it bounces off his shoulder, lands on the side of his face, in his ear, his neck, whatever. You raise your hands like that, it's a red card. Them's the rules. As he's being sent off, VAR helps the referee Sotogrado. He gets explosively angry, and Rudiger, thankfully, has seen what's happening and is ready to haul him away and push him down the tunnel. It happens by the end of the match, playing 10v11, Real Madrid have woken up, they win 2-1. Seeing what happened there somehow helps them. It sparks them. No kudos to Vinicius for getting sent off. It wasn't a strategic move. But what happens is that post-match, whoever writes his social media posts, he apologises. He says thanks to the team for getting him out of jail by winning. And he does this. Is it a victory sign? Or is it, as he was doing in the match, showing Segunda, you're going down to the Segunda, to the Valencia fans? I think that's funny. So to the point. Here in Spain, I cannot overemphasize, and trust me, believe me, there is an atmosphere which is torrid and poisonous and nasty. Vinicius in general is treated as some kind of evil alien being who's poisonous and who must be castigated and jumped down upon at all costs. That happens from fans all over the country, wherever I bump into people and I raise Vinicius, but in the media too. Even those in the Real Madrid sponsored media who tell him he's the best in the world and he was robbed of the Ballon d'Or, talk about him in the most pejorative terms. They forget or ignore or judge by skin colour, in my opinion, the fact that by Vinicius' age, Sergio Ramos had been sent off 10 times for Real Madrid. Across Sergio Ramos' career with Real Madrid, he gets sent off 26 red cards. At the time, There were headlines about, oh, there goes another one, Sergio Ramos on his way to the record. But did he get this kind of shit that Vinicius is getting? No. Let's try and work out what the difference between the two men is. Anyway, I'm calling foul, I'm calling the R word in the coverage. Just in case, and I believe you're not, part of the harder thinking, slow to keep up, at Mestalla, Vinicius was in the wrong, although he was being taunted and provoked, and although the stadium was giving him a really hard time. That's part of your daily life, as long as it doesn't include racism or physical assault. When he raised his arms, he left the referee with no option. The red card was merited. But I stress again, second red card. So he's cost Real Madrid 3 points because they won this game. The previous red card was also at Mestalla against Valencia. They lost that one. He's cost them 3 points at this stage. Across his entire career, Ramos, if you count the games in which he was sent off and they lost or drew, cost them in the region of 24 points. Nobody mentions that. No such comparisons are made. Vinicius is hauled out. And the final point I'll make is that given that this is a hair-trigger volcanic guy, Real Madrid themselves and their friendly journalists are causing part of the problem. The atmosphere in Spanish football right now is kind of Reds under the bed, if you remember that from the 50s. You weren't allowed in the 50s? Go and look under Senator McCarthy and his House Representative Un-American Committee investigations. Let's use another thing. It's the kind of atmosphere that villains, evil villains like Trump and Musk want to promote. You lie loudly enough, and you lie often enough that it becomes an accepted fact. What am I talking about? Real Madrid television, patently with the blessing of their president, every single time Real Madrid come to play a domestic match, have a section where they say the referee's done us in, look at the last time, look at the decisions that went against us, the whole refereeing system is against us. One journalist in Marca, who's very close to Real Madrid, at the weekend wrote, well, Real Madrid's conviction that the whole refereeing system needs to be overhauled. They are poisoning the well. Now, they're doing it in a way that I'm not hauling them out on their own. In my entire life, big clubs and big players and big managers have always sought to influence refereeing decisions. They're not unique. The way in which they're doing it in the modern age, with the way in which things become viral on social media, is a relatively new development. It's become a club policy, it's on Real Madrid television. The more that it's said that every referee is against them and has in the past cheated them in one way or another, the more it becomes accepted fact, even when it's not true. Not all their footballers watch Real Madrid television, but when a guy like Vinicius is told that referees are against him, that referees are against Real Madrid, that he was robbed of the Ballon d'Or. Remember, Real Madrid refused to go to the Paris Gala. There was Real Madrid friendly articles in the papers for days and days. The voting was odd. UEFA are against us. When you poison the well and create that atmosphere, don't be surprised if your most hair-trigger footballer lets that seep into his consciousness and continues to overreact to minor slights on the pitch. Not the racism, not when they try to take his leg off, but when Vinicius gets angry at the drop of a pin. Look at yourself, Real Madrid. Think hard about the environment that you've created, and then think about whether it's actually doing you any good or not. Follow me on Substack. Go to substack.com. Look for Graham Hunter, Revista de la Liga. There'll be more of this week. Enjoy talking to you. Send us your feedback. Happy Reyes.